This is part 3 of my Flat Earth Proof presentation series, where I'll be taking each proof of the Flat Earth and break it down as best as possible in a short video for anyone to see. And I want to challenge anyone on this because I know this is absolute proof. If you haven't watched my first 2 presentations, I'll put a link below for you to check out. This video is about the missing curvature of Earth. This can get deep, so I picked the most logical explanations in this PowerPoint and explained as best as possible. There are many more proofs. If you have questions or want to debunk me, prove me wrong, let me know. Leave a comment. This is volume 3, Earth's non-curvature. Intro to the flat realm we really live in. The first thing to know about curvature, there is none. It's all very simple. Once they get to math or science that has curvature or any other flat earth anomalies, they switch the subject and start adding in their lies. Some history. The first published reference of the size of Earth was around 350 BC from Aristotle when he wrote a book called On the Heavens, which he guessed the circumference of Earth to be around 400,000 stadia. Then around 100 years later, around 240 BC, Aristotle said this to be fact and scientific proof with no logical math. But scientists today say that they're still uncertain about the accuracy in both Aristotle and Aristophanes' estimates about over the stadian length they spoke about. History. Early ideas about the flat figure of flat Earth. Stars above with heaven in a dome. Two of the earliest arguments against flat Earth are that lunar eclipses causes circular shadows and Polaris is seen lower in the sky as one travels. I'll debunk this in another video. Pythagoras and Eratosthenes were literally one of the first in so-called history to call the world a sphere. Aristotle opposed Democritus' claim that the Milky Way was a part in the sky that was shaded because of the Earth, which we know is not true. There's that famous story of how we knew the Earth was a sphere 2,000 years ago, when the sun placed a shadow straight down in one area, one town, and somewhere else in another city. At the same time, the shadow is cast and it's not straight down. Well, this is easily explainable on a flat Earth as well. Geodesy. Geodesy is the earth science of accurately measuring Earth, understanding the shape, size, orientation in space, and you guessed it, gravity. Under this category, they include geoid, figure of Earth, which is radius and circumference, horizontal position, latitude and longitude, map projection, GPS, and more. I'll get into that in another video. In Greek, where this came from, this word means division of Earth. Geodesy is basically a mix of astronomy and geology and spreads out into other categories. There's two problems with this, geodesy and geoids. There's two problems that they admit, in fact. And this here is the smoking gun. So geodesy means division. So is that, they call that Earth because of they trying to divide us, they trying to separate us? Just a question, not sure. Two problems that they have in this actual science of geodesy and geoids that they emit. First is forward and direct, and second is inverse or reverse. So forward and back, in and out, basically. They say they solved this with trigonometry. However, on a sphere, the solution is much more complex. Measurements, they clearly say that they use leveling to measure height differences. Why do you think all oceans are level? Only possible on a flat plane thousands of miles wide around. Then they use GPS to map right now. GPS only gives height above the ellipsoid. I'll explain more of this in another video. These are all the people, starting with Pythagoras and Eratosthenes, to be the first to teach this sphere-Earth theory, that the Earth is a sphere. Soon after, it was widespread. They don't even know who was credited for teaching Pythagoras before that. They have a few stories which were not kept and were lost, so they don't officially know. Here are some other concepts, which means they are not real. So if they're concepts, I don't understand why they list them as fact here. I went over celestial horizon in my first video, I believe, but I'll go over that more, so check that out. They have plumb line, zenith, vertical, which is plumb line, celestial horizon, which they claim, like I said in my first video, they claim there's more than one horizon, which is clearly not true. Azimuth, north celestial pole, celestial equator, meridian plane. Meridian plane, any place perpendicular to the celestial equator and containing the celestial poles. So there's some wording they use to try to confuse people and try to cover up what you're really seeing, what's actually going on. Next we have, this is a diagram. In this diagram, from about 1,000 years ago, in 1037 AD, I believe, and in the Middle East, Al-Biruni came up with this prior to his predecessors, like the Romans and the Greeks. He measured the Earth's circumference with just they measured the circumference with just shadows and the sun. And for the last time, how do you measure the sphere from the center of the Earth, which they use circumference, radius, pi, diameter, and other math? It just can't work. They have the radius, and then they have the O there, which is in the middle, but that shouldn't really matter. If the center shouldn't really matter if you're on the surface, basically. Radius, circumference, and diameter. When you do these maths for a sphere, they never ever show the distance, size, shape, or measurement of the outside of the sphere. The oldest and most famous is Eratosthenes, who estimated the size in a book that has not been preserved. Eratosthenes' calculations have been lost. What was preserved is another version told by Cleomedes, and they have no official record of this, only estimates from birth from around 1st century to the 400 AD. Then sometime later, Columbus followed Eratosthenes' old writing of the size of Earth, but insisted it was 25% smaller. If he didn't, he would have known he entered the New World and not Asia. So the question is, where's the curve? Do you see there's a difference between real and fantasy? The best way to see the curve is through all the flatness, is what they say. I'm gonna end it here. Keep watching. I'm gonna play some more proof of evidence. You'll see on the screen a brief abstract. It's the best and fastest way to summarize this. Next video I'm do about planes and NASA. Might make it 2 separate videos or 1, I'm not sure. But stay tuned, be on the lookout for that soon. If you would like to support, all my links are in the description, so I'll post all my links down below. And thank you for watching.